Get that clickbait, huh? Alright. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all, stop it.
New drama tonight involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a scheduled...
You will not believe what happened at the latest Dalton Village board meeting. It was wild and chaotic, leaving everyone speechless. We have all seen political drama before, but what unfolded with Mayor Tiffany Henyard took it to another level. Imagine this. The mayor, right in the middle of a meeting, was arrested after causing absolute chaos and needing to be removed by force. Yes, you heard that correctly. A live meeting broadcast was abruptly cut off as tensions escalated so quickly that it felt like a scene from a television show. However, this was real life happening in Dalton, Illinois.
I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate.
Let us dive into the details because this story is full of drama you will not want to miss. Mayor Tiffany Henyard, no stranger to controversy, had been clashing with the village trustees for months. If you have been following the news, you already know her relationship with the board has been anything but smooth. Constant conflicts over decisions, appointments, and nearly every issue have defined their interactions. However, at the latest board meeting, tensions finally reached a boiling point. What happened next escalated the situation in a way no one could have anticipated, taking the drama to an entirely new level.
On questionable spending by a South suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard, but we only knew half the...
Eyewitnesses at the meeting described the atmosphere as electric, with tension so thick it was almost tangible. From the beginning, it felt as though everyone present knew something dramatic was about to unfold. The trustees had gathered at the local Park District building, a move necessitated by the ever-growing crowds that had turned Dalton's government meetings into a must-see spectacle. Village Hall, unable to legally accommodate the surge of residents eager to witness the escalating drama, had proven inadequate for the civic unrest now defining Dalton's political scene. The venue was packed with residents, some genuinely concerned about the town's governance and others simply drawn by the spectacle of controversy that seemed to follow Mayor Tiffany Henyard at every turn. On this particular day, Henyard was not about to conform to expectations or adhere to the usual decorum of such meetings. Throwing the rulebook out the window, she asserted herself with her signature defiance and dramatic flair, setting the tone for yet another chapter in Dalton's ongoing political saga. As tensions mounted between Henyard and the trustees, it became evident that the mayor was once again playing to the crowd. Her leadership style resembled that of a reality television star more than a traditional public servant. As the chaos unfolded, residents were left wondering whether her behavior was a calculated power play or another example of her refusal to follow the norms of governance. This spectacle only underscored the broader issues plaguing Dalton, a town now more famous for its political theatrics than its ability to address pressing challenges. Henyard's captivating but polarizing approach left many questioning the sustainability of her leadership in the face of these mounting problems.
But those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure.
Instead of joining the trustees at the Park District building for the scheduled meeting, Mayor Tiffany Henyard made a bold and controversial move. She held her meeting back at Village Hall. It was a defiant gesture, almost as if she wanted to remind everyone that she was in charge and would run things her way, regardless of what anyone else thought. However, her plan did not unfold as she had envisioned, and what followed was enough to leave many stunned. Only 2 trustees showed up to her impromptu gathering, far short of the number needed to legally hold a meeting. With no quorum, Henyard had no choice but to cancel her self-declared session, an embarrassing setback for someone attempting to assert dominance. Still, Henyard was not ready to back down. Determined to make her presence felt, she jumped into her car and drove to the Park District building, where the trustees were continuing the official meeting without her. What happened next was nothing short of dramatic. Henyard stormed into the meeting, disrupting the proceedings and drawing all attention to herself. What had been a tense but functional gathering quickly spiraled into chaos as her sudden arrival stole the spotlight. Her entrance caused a stir among the trustees and attendees alike, adding yet another chapter to Dalton's ongoing political theater. The room, already thick with tension, erupted into confusion as Henyard took center stage, refusing to follow protocol or play by anyone else's rules. This episode further highlighted her contentious leadership style, one defined by disruption and defiance. Many in the room, and throughout the community, were left questioning whether Dalton's political drama would ever resolve. As the dust settled, the incident underscored the growing divide between Henyard and the trustees, leaving the town's residents caught in the middle of an escalating power struggle.
Temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from.
As soon as Tiffany Henyard walked into the room, the tension spiked to palpable levels, an almost electric charge rippling through the crowd. Residents, already exasperated by her antics and controversial leadership, reacted visibly to her sudden appearance at the trustees' meeting. She was an uninvited and unwelcome guest in what had, until that moment, been a functioning, albeit tense, session. Some attendees, unable to contain their frustration, turned their backs on her as she entered, a stark, silent gesture of disapproval that spoke volumes. Undeterred and ever dramatic, Henyard approached the microphone with an air of defiance, proclaiming, "I am the mayor of the village of Dalton," as if to reassert her authority in a room that was not receptive. However, before she could utter another word, the crowd erupted in a cacophony of boos and shouts, drowning out her declaration with a wall of sound fueled by anger, frustration, and sheer exhaustion from the ongoing political drama consuming their community. The uproar was immediate and unrelenting, a visceral reaction from residents who felt ignored, misled, and increasingly burdened by the fallout of Henyard's controversial tenure. Her attempt to commandeer the meeting only inflamed the already volatile situation. Attendees openly challenged her presence and motives, making it clear they were fed up. What had started as an ordinary trustees meeting quickly devolved into a chaotic spectacle with Henyard at the center, a polarizing figure whose actions seemed to further widen the already vast gulf between her and the people she claimed to represent. The room, thick with tension and emotion, became a battleground of words and gestures, underscoring the escalating frustrations of a community desperate for accountability and effective leadership. Henyard's dramatic entrance and the crowd's hostile response highlighted the erosion of trust under her administration, leaving many wondering if reconciliation or resolution was even possible as Dalton grappled with its deepening divisions.
Issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval.
Witnesses recount a scene of pure chaos as Mayor Tiffany Henyard attempted to take control of a volatile trustees meeting, only to have her efforts drowned out by shouting, boos, and overwhelming public disapproval. Determined to assert her authority, Henyard tried to speak over the uproar, demanding respect and declaring the meeting itself illegal. Her goal, as she loudly proclaimed, was to make key appointments, including naming a new police chief. However, her words were completely lost in the deafening clamor of an audience unwilling to give her the floor. Constituents, already fed up with what many saw as her heavy-handed leadership style, made it clear they had no interest in anything she had to say. The tension in the room was palpable as Henyard struggled to maintain her composure. However, the noise, frustration, and outright hostility proved insurmountable. She lasted only 7 minutes before being forced to leave the room, effectively booed out by the very people she claimed to serve. What followed was nothing short of pandemonium. Henyard stormed out of the building, visibly enraged by the crowd's rejection. The situation quickly spiraled out of control, with reports circulating that Henyard, incensed by the public humiliation, allegedly got physical with one of the officials present. This altercation only escalated the already volatile atmosphere, drawing gasps from stunned witnesses and raising tensions to an all-time high. Police, who had been strategically stationed nearby in anticipation of trouble, quickly intervened to restore order. However, what happened next shocked everyone present. Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the self-declared super mayor of Dalton, Illinois, was arrested. The arrest marked an astonishing turn of events, the culmination of a meeting that had started with high stakes and ended in dramatic consequences. Residents watched in disbelief as Henyard, a polarizing figure who once positioned herself as a beacon of leadership, was led away in handcuffs. Her attempts to reclaim control of the narrative were undone by the sheer weight of public dissent and her actions. The fallout from the incident left the community reeling, serving as a stark reminder of the deep divisions and mounting tensions that have come to define Henyard's controversial tenure.
The government always does it, is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what
The live feed of the meeting, which had been broadcasting the entire spectacle, was abruptly cut off as Tiffany Henyard was taken into custody. The scene, a sitting mayor being escorted out of her meeting in handcuffs, felt like something out of a movie. But this was no fiction. This was real life. So, what exactly led to this dramatic arrest? To fully understand, we need to step back and examine the bigger picture because this moment did not come out of nowhere. It was the culmination of months, even years, of tension, chaos, and outright defiance from Henyard. Since taking office, Tiffany Henyard has been a polarizing figure, her tenure riddled with controversy. Whether clashing with the trustees, ignoring legal orders, or making appointments without board approval, Henyard has consistently operated outside the norms of local government. For example, Henyard once appointed a new village manager, village attorney, and police chief, all without seeking the required board approval. This blatant disregard for protocol prompted the trustees to take the matter to court. A judge issued a restraining order, clearly instructing Henyard that she could not make such appointments without the board's consent. However, Henyard did not listen. Her defiance only intensified, setting the stage for the explosive events that led to her arrest. Henyard's actions have not only alienated the trustees, but have also frustrated many residents. Her repeated efforts to consolidate power have created numerous enemies in Dalton. This tension is not limited to governance issues. Rumors of financial scandals have also surrounded her administration. Allegations of misusing public funds, questionable taxpayer-funded trips, and a lack of transparency have further eroded trust. Despite this, Henyard has used social media to rally support, painting herself as a hero fighting a corrupt system. In one post, she called on her supporters, saying, "I need all my black sheep to stand with me. You are not alone. If God is for us, who can be against us?" While she portrays herself as a crusader for justice, her actions suggest a leader more focused on maintaining power than serving the people she represents. This dramatic arrest serves as yet another chapter in the tumultuous story of Henyard's controversial tenure.
The backs of taxpayers, but what do we gain from any of these trips?
What is going on? The reality is much more complicated than it seems. While Tiffany Henyard has managed to keep some supporters on her side, the tide is turning against her. Residents are fed up, trustees are done with her power plays, and even the courts are stepping in to stop her. It is as if Henyard is fighting a battle on all fronts, and at this point, it is hard to see how she will make it through. The village's finances have come under scrutiny, and there has even been mention of Dalton and Thornton Township being part of a federal probe, a larger investigation into Henyard's alleged misuse of public funds. The FBI is not the only one involved. Things are getting juicier at the state level, too. Leaked documents have surfaced, showing questionable spending, particularly on taxpayer-funded trips that seem to have no clear purpose. We are talking about thousands of dollars spent on travel, accommodations, and who knows what else, all paid for with public funds. It is no wonder the FBI is involved. Clearly, something does not add up. Speaking of going down, let's circle back to the fan reactions, because trust us, people have a lot to say about this. One fan commented, "I suppose she will be saying it is only clickbait and fake news when she is in court again, and honestly, that just about sums it up." Henyard has tried to brush off these allegations as nothing more than attacks from her enemies, but at this point, it is hard to ignore the mountain of evidence against her. Another fan pointed out, she has been a criminal her whole life. After all, she was arrested for breaking into cars in 2016. She probably already has a long rap sheet. We cannot say if that is true or not, but it is clear Henyard's reputation is far from squeaky clean. She has been in hot water before, and it seems she has found herself right back in the middle of it again. So, what do you think? Is this the end of the line for Tiffany Henyard, or will she somehow bounce back once again? Let us know in the comments below, and do not forget to subscribe for all the latest updates on this wild saga. Trust us, this story is far from over.